How are my kitchen peeps doing? Today we're going to talk about zucchini. I love some zucchini. I know this video is a little bit out of season because it's not zucchini season, but I had a few organic ones I'd gotten my hands on and just thought, hey, what the heck? I do my best to eat seasonally. I mean, God put certain plants in production and at their peak at certain points of the year for a reason. He knew what he was doing. We've just tend to turn it into what we want it to be. But anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. But I'm going to show you two super quick, you know me, and the super quick, really tasty ways to cook with zucchini. It's another one of those, oh my gosh, I just got home and I don't have my meal planned. Oop, we'll talk about that in another video. We're going to work on some meal planning tips that will help you. But until we get there, this is going to be a really, really easy way and super yummy way to fix zucchini. I mean, when I talk super easy, you're going to really be amazed. So I've got a couple here. I'm going to turn the camera down and show you. Hopefully you can see. Whoop, wrong way. Let's do it back there. All right, so I got two zucchini. I have a little casserole pan over here. I sprayed some organic oil spray in there just so it wouldn't stick. We're going to go down long ways on both of them. Well, I cut the tips off. I was just cutting while I was talking a minute ago and didn't tell you. So you want to cut off the ends. I just don't like the little icky ends. Do it like that. And then you want to score it. So you just hold it and kind of, it doesn't really matter straight. I just do it diagonally. Don't ask me why. I just always have done it that way. Can you see that? So you're going to score it. Do each one. And I don't know if you can hear my oven in the background from that dadgum fan that, I don't know why it does that, but it does. So I've got the oven heating to 400. You're going to do all of these like this. And then we're going to put some of nature's most beautiful thing, butter. I love me some butter. And if you can't handle dairy at all, then you could use some of the dairy-free butters on the market. Earth Balance makes a pretty good one. I use that at the restaurant. Yes, I like a little vegetable with my butter. I'm all about what Sally Fallon with the Weston Price Foundation says, that vegetables are just a vehicle for butter. I like that statement. So I put quite a bit. You can do this with lard. You know how much I love my lard. You could do it with coconut oil if you like that kind of flavor. I'm not real big on coconut oil with savory cooking, but you could do it that way. Just whatever you do, don't use vegetable oil. Don't use any kind of industrialized processed seed oil because they're nasty and they're super bad for you. Super, super bad for you. So you're going to smear it up with some butter real good. And then this is seasonal. This is like my latest mission to create my own version of this to replace this one. And I'll tell you why. I mean, I love seasonal. It's just a great little blend of some peppers and seasonings. It adds a good flavor. But listen to these ingredients: salt, spices, chili pepper, black pepper, celery seed, onion, paprika, maltodextrin, don't want that, garlic, silicone dioxide, added to make it free-flowing. I don't need something free-flowing. I can do this and bust it up. And then annatto for color. Well, I don't need color added. I mean, just go with whatever color it is. So anyway, man, I'm gonna tear tonight. I'm going to come up with a blend that that matches this so I can make my own. I've got several seasoning, let me flip this guy up, several seasoning blends that we'll be covering at some point. A spicy sausage seasoning, an Italian sausage seasoning, taco seasoning, essence, which is kind of a Cajun, just different seasoning blends that I've put together over time. And this is another one that I'm going to be working on, but I haven't started yet. So anyway, but that's all you got to do. You get that all done just like that, pop it in the oven, and depending on how much you got going in, how many and how big they are really is a big thing. I'd probably watch about 30 minutes. You want it to be kind of soft, and then once it gets kind of fork soft, then turn on the broil and kind of brown it or caramelize it on top, and oh, it's so good. So I'm gonna pause, throw that in the oven, and then get set up for the other way to do zucchini that's really, really easy as well. Okay, we're back. Whoops, flicking the camera everywhere. The next thing we're gonna do is spiralize, which I know, it's another, I keep saying easy, but I'm not sure how many ways I can tell y'all it's easy. I've got one zucchini here. I'm gonna do the same thing and just cut the little ends off. The one thing about spiralizing, you want a zucchini that's as straight as you can get. You can do it with others, but it's just easier. This, ta-da, is my Paderno spiralizer. I'll turn the thing down again so you can see. And this is not a paid advertisement or blah, 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 but I just like it a lot. I've had this probably 6 or 7 years. I use it at the restaurant. It has stood up to putting volumes of stuff through it. You can spiralize beets, which are beautiful. Potatoes, zucchini's kind of the thing a lot of people think of. And it just, makes a nice different kind of way of presenting the vegetable or whatever. But the Paderno comes with a couple of different pull-out blades. So you've got, this one has a really big noodle, we'll say. This one's a smaller one. For whatever reason, this is just the one that I typically use. I like the kind of smaller ones. You just slide it down in that little tray there. And then this is one that just slices, makes big flat noodles. I don't really bother with that one too much. But they fit very nicely in this little slide. Whoops. So I'm gonna stick them in here, just get them out of the way. And then you will take your zucchini, put it in here, and I'm gonna start it a little crooked because I want it to straighten out pretty quick. And then if you push down on all the legs, they've got little suction cups, and it'll keep it from moving so that when you're spiralizing, you're not chasing it all over your counter. So all we gotta do, I usually just have a cutting board off to the side, and you're gonna hold this. There's a handle over here. I don't know that you can see it real good, sticking out right there. It moves around. So you're gonna hold that and kind of push and then turn. I mean, it cannot be any easier than that. And it goes, every now and then you'll kind of tear up your end, and you just or if it gets really snippy with you, you can just cut it off. We'll come back to that and just keep going. So you're pushing and spinning, and it's super stinking easy. There's a lot of different spiralizers on the market. I looked at commercial ones, which might as well buy a new car, are ridiculous. And like I said, this one, I think I paid like 30 bucks for it. I'm not a big gadget person at all. I like to keep things a little more simple, but this is a gadget that I would recommend. And on each foot, there's like a little tab that you just pull to release the suction. It gets out of the way, and there you are. So the one thing you're gonna wind up with really long, if you like that, that's great. I usually just take a knife or even a pair of scissors and run through it so I don't have 14-foot long noodles. And then this, affectionately known as the zucchini weenie, I know it's kind of gnarly. I usually just take this, cut it up real thin so it matches the rest of the zucchini as far as cooking. I mean, because I'm not going to toss it in the trash. No way, Jose. Even this end that got a little mangled up from the little spikes, nothing wrong with it. It's just got little holes put in it. And then you can take this and do whatever you want to do with it. I mean, cut it in little chunks like that. It's the inside of the zucchini, so it's super, super, super tender. And that's all you got to do to spiralize. Now, we're going to flip over to the stove, and I'm going to show you how I would cook this. Okay, here we are. I've got one of my favorite kitchen tools in the world, a cast iron skillet. It's just got a little, I mean, I keep them oiled real good, so it's just got a little bit of oil in the bottom, which is all you need. And literally, It's as simple as, let me get some tongs. Get your skillet really hot and then put them in there and just kind of toss them around. You're not as much like hardcore cooking them as really just sort of heating them. If you cook them too long, they get really mushy. Doesn't mean they won't taste good, but it'll be kind of baby foodish. And you're probably not really into that. So this is one of those things that you can have this whipped out and on the dinner table. You know, if you've got a roast in the crock pot, it's been cooking all day, come home, throw these together super fast, serve it with your roast. And if you want to do something besides rice or potatoes, I'm not too worried about low carb this, no carb that, but it's just a different variety. It's just a different way of doing it. So let's see how we're, oh, not hot yet. Another thing you can do, typically I don't bother, but you can salt them and it'll help draw the water out. So you could lay them on a towel, sprinkle some salt on it, let it sit for 20 or 30 minutes and then rinse it off. It'll draw some of that water, so it'll help it keep from getting mushy. But if you're going to cook them and eat them right away, it's no big deal. The only time they'll really get mushy is if you have them in the refrigerator, you know, store them overnight. So, starting to get a little hot. Oh yeah, starting to hear some sizzle. Turn that up a little bit. All right, so in the skillet we go. Whoops, runaway. Can't have that. Get that guy back over here. So we're just going to put all this in here. My word, I keep dropping stuff. I said this once before, making videos after I leave the restaurant is probably not the brightest thing to do. Been doing this all day and Maggie's tired. But anyway, all right. I mean, y'all, this is kind of stupid simple, like Meemaw said. It is really super this easy. If your skillet is really, really hot, and cast iron is fabulous for conducting heat, you can almost get it a little seared, and it'll be just a tiny bit brown, which is nice. I like that. You can season it however you want. I would not recommend salt, because again, it draws the water out and it'll help make it mushy. But sprinkle a little bit of pepper on there. And then whatever sauce you're going to put on here, if you're going to put it under a spaghetti sauce or an Alfredo, or like I said, throw some gravy over it from your roast, anything like that, then it just makes a great, you know, substitute for pasta, just to do something different. And in the summer, it's awesome. It's really good. Spiralize, kind of chopped up and thrown in a salad. That's a good way to do it. You can do all kinds of like Asian dishes and Thai dishes and serve it over this, you know, shrimp and chicken in a Thai sauce. It's really tasty. One thing, look at that. See, they're starting to get soft. At this point, I'd cut it off. That is as far as I want to go with it. If it keeps going, it's going to turn to mush. So I've got my skillet turned off. You can take it straight out of here, straight onto the plate, put your topping on it, and you are dadgum good to go. One thing that I do at the restaurant that is another super simple, kid-friendly way to use this is I make Zoodle Pizza Bowls. So I'll do my zucchini just like that. Have some pepperoni or some sausage or whatever kind of meat you want to have on there. Cook that up with some trilogy, some olives, you know, black olives, some bell pepper. You could do a sweep the kitchen kind of pizza. Mix in a little pizza sauce and serve it on top of the zoodles. It is super good. You could put some Parmesan sauce on, Parmesan cheese on there if you wanted to. You could do a buffalo style pizza topping. I mean, whatever you want to do. You could even make it really fun with your kids and have like a pizza bar. So you start out with your zoodles and then have all your toppings warmed up. It's not going to go in the oven, so you want them warm, but just let people pick their own toppings and put it together however they want. That's fun and really tasty and a great way to get a vegetable in your kid if they're challenging you on that. So that's that. I'm going to stop the video. We're going to give it a little while. I've got about 15 more minutes in the oven on the roasting zucchini, and we'll come back and I'll show you what that looks like. And I'm telling y'all, that is so good. But stay tuned. Okay, so I just pulled the zucchini out of the oven. I set it on 400 for 30 minutes. And about the last 5 minutes, I guess really you'd say 400 for 25 minutes, then the last 500, oh good Lord, the last 5 minutes, I turned it up to broil, which is 500, just to get it kind of a little brown on top. And goodness gracious, y'all, it's so good. Let me do this. Can you see that? So when it cooks, bring this over here a little bit, you know, your little scores are going to open up, so the butter's going to get down in there. It's really soft, and y'all, it is so good. Now I like mine cooked not mushy, but really super soft. You can stop cooking it at whatever. If you still like a little crisp, a little crunch in yours, then don't go as long. But I'm telling you, this is one of the fastest, tastiest side dishes that you can whip out. So give it a shot. Wait till the summer when zucchini's in season. And, you know, dazzle your family with that one, because I'm telling you, if you could do dairy, the butter just puts it over. It's just so good. If you can't do dairy, it's still really super good with the dairy-free butter. But give it a shot. Tell me what you think. If you have favorite ways to do zucchini, then drop that in the comments and give me some feedback. Thanks.